we got together, 3, 4 of us who we knew were Muslims, and at that time 3 of us were from Indo-Pak origin, and a couple of them were from, I think one gentleman was from Turkey and another gentleman was from Saudi. We started doing our meetings and Sunday tafsir in our basements. So we would rotate between the different homes, and in Ramadan we would do Taraweeh 1 week in each one's house. And as we started growing, we realized that we needed more space. Then we rented a school in Livonia, and we started doing our functions there. When we became like 20-25 families on a regular basis, we formed the Muslim community of western suburbs of Michigan and got it registered. And then we started looking for a place to build a mosque. And I was part of the search committee, and we would find a place, a land to build. And at that point, we had children who started growing bigger, and we said, masjid is a good place to build, but we need a school. We need an Islamic school. So while all this was going on, we got in touch with the Ann Arbor community, and they had just built a place on Plymouth Road, and we said, you know, can we get together and see if we can start a school? And they said fine. So we were talking and thinking about it, and that year I went to Hajj. I was right in front of the Kaaba praying, and I said, God, you got to give us some guidance. We want Islamic school. We don't know how it's going to happen. Give us some guidance. And instantly I felt in my heart that we should start the school this year. I said, even if it's a week or 2 late, let's start it. So we got teachers, we got our kids together, and we started the school in Ann Arbor. And one of us would be driving the bus one day, one of us would be the school teacher one day, one day we would be, you know, games teacher. So we kind of rotated. We had about 4 or 5 professional teachers, and we started from grade 1 to 4. And the kids, it was rough on the kids because we had a small bus. We would start in Dearborn, pick up some kids, go to Livonia, drive. So some days the kids were 1.5 hours to 2 hours in the bus getting there. But we realized that that was our only choice at that point. We have no other possibility of educating our kids. So after about 3 years, the community in Ann Arbor was changing. They were mainly students coming from Saudi, and their main intent of the school was to teach their kids Arabic, so that when they go back, the kids would not speaking Arabic. And our focus was Islam. So there was a little rift and conflict starting, and that's the point when we realized that the school has to be more centrally located, and it should cover all kids that want to go to school. So we did a survey, and we sent letters to as many Muslim addresses we had and said, on this map, tell us where would you like the school to be. We plotted it on a map. It came out that they wanted in the 275 corridor between 94 and 96. Then we started looking for land, and it so happened that one of the Muslim realtors was looking at a piece of land which was about 20 acres right at the corner of Lots and Palmer. So we approached him, and he said, well, I need 10 acres. You guys can buy the remaining 10 acres. And believe it or not, it was $82,000 for 10 acres at that time. So we all sat together, and I remember it was in the basement of my house, and we were talking, and said, we need $82,000 to buy this land. And it was pretty difficult to people to commit right away. And I had one question for them. I said, I want a commitment from this group. If the school needs you to mortgage your house, sell your car, and all your belongings to support it, are you ready to do that? And everybody looked at me and said, no, we just need $82,000. I said, no, it's a lifelong commitment. Each of these people, they're still involved in the school, and one of them passed away, but till the last breath, they have always supported the school project. And so we got the land, and then we said we want to do everything professionally. So we interviewed, I think, about 20 different building companies who build schools. And we found a company called TMP, which had built like 500 schools in and around the state. We had several meetings, and eventually the design was approved. Then we said we need the support of our neighbors. So we invited all the neighbors to Canton Public Library, and we presented to them what we were planning to do, and said, you know, we are all professionals, we want our children to get good moral teaching in the school. And what was amazing is most of them were outright our supporters. We had very good support, but I think the important thing was that we went to them before they went to the city and started complaining. So once the plans were kind of made for the school, and we had a area for prayer, then we approached the community and said, look here, we are going to build a school, and it will have a prayer area. We want you guys to be a part of it, because the building can be used for prayers and for the school both, so it has a dual purpose. And the whole budget for the school came to $1.8 million. And we started looking for pledges, and we did some fundraising dinners, and we got about 500,000 seed money to start. A lot of it came from the trustees themselves, and we started the construction. There were pledges for another $1 million, so we said, you know, 300,000 is not bad. The project went very well. The completion day happened, and $1 million pledge was not there. The people had pledged it, but when you went to ask them, they said, well, I will give it, but right now it's not the right time. So here is the building complete. All the bills are there, and it was a 30-day net that we had to pay, and we were $1 million short. And obviously we couldn't sleep. We would have sleepless nights worrying that there are going to be locks on the school and the whole building is going to be useless. So one morning, and I was living in Dearborn at that time, I went to the local banker that I knew. He was vice president of, I think it was National Bank of Detroit at that time. Mm-hmm. And so I was sitting in his office, and he came in and he said, Dr. Hai, you look very perplexed. I said, yes, I am. I've had several sleepless nights. And he said, what can I do for you? I said, I need $1 million. And he said, when do you need it? I said, as soon as possible. The bills are there. And he said, why don't you come at 4 o'clock and I'll have a check for $1 million. And I looked at his face and smiled and says, you're kidding, aren't you? He says, no, no. I know you guys. I know how sincere you are at what you do. I will make sure that there is a check for $1 million at 4 o'clock this afternoon. And I took it, called the attorney, and I said, I have $1 million cash. I want you to call all the builders and the contractors